You know, it's just human nature for each of us to think that we're pretty good at what we do, right? And rightfully so. However, we all make mistakes, right? That's just human nature too. The goal is to learn from our mistakes so that we don't make them again. And when it comes to testing electrical issues, I think there is one mistake that most technicians make that usually causes them to make this statement: "Oh, I wish I would have tested that sooner." Now, I'm no exception, because I've made it too, more than once. And I think the reason is because of how we're taught. Now, keep in mind, I am an electrical instructor myself, and I too am a product of what we've been taught. So let me try and help here by teaching it just a little bit differently. From the very beginning, we are all taught about volts, ohms, and amps, right? And by understanding those three things, we're supposed to be able to fix electrical problems. Now the trouble is, there's a missing piece to that list of the three things that we've been taught. Actually, it's not missing at all, and it never has been. It's just been overlooked, ignored, and forgotten about, up until the point that we catch ourselves making that all too familiar statement: "Oh, I wished I would have tested that sooner." And what is that missing piece? It's continuity. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying now that you understand continuity just fine already. All I ask is that you give me a few minutes of your time here and see if this doesn't help. Now, in order to show you what I mean, let me ask you this question. What do you see? A road full of traffic, right? Well, what do you see here? A road with no traffic. So now let's compare the two. Lots of traffic and no traffic. Now let me be more specific. What do you focus on? The traffic, right? Nobody ever focuses on the road. Sure, on the left side, the actual road is more obvious, but on the right side, it's still there. You just don't focus on it. It's just been overlooked, ignored, and forgotten about, up until the point that we catch ourselves making that all too familiar statement: "I wish I would have tested that sooner." Notice the similarity to our discussion. We know about continuity. It's just been overlooked, ignored, and forgotten about. Now let me change the word road to continuity and traffic to power. I understand that they are different, but just for now I'm going to combine the two, voltage and current, and just simply say power. What do you see? Continuity full of power. And what do you see here? Continuity with no power. Now let's compare the two. What do you see? On the right side you see continuity with power passing over it, and on the left side you see continuity with no power passing over it. Both sides have continuity. If either side did not have continuity, or no power, or no traffic, traffic could not flow over it. Power could not pass through it. We need to focus on the continuity. Now that we know not to ignore continuity, let's review what we've always been taught. A circuit is a completed path, and it's represented by this wire. Now we know that voltage pushes, and we know that resistance, or ohms, opposes that push, and current flows. Now at this point, most of our teaching gets bogged down on what we call Ohm's law, or the math of Ohm's law. That's where we usually kind of stop thinking about it. It's easy to get bogged down in the math. What about continuity? See how easily it gets overlooked, ignored, and forgotten about? Something that helps me understand continuity is to remember this phrase: whatever comes to it passes right through it. If power comes to it, power will pass through it. If ground comes to it, ground will pass through it. And if nothing comes to it, nothing will pass through it. Now keep in mind, with continuity, Nothing is something. Sometimes doing nothing is doing something on purpose. Now you may have a problem with the power, you may have a problem with the ground, or you could have a problem with nothing, or you could have a combination of any of them. Now let me try and illustrate this with some graphics. Let's let traffic and power be the same, and let's let continuity and the road be the same. If there is no road, traffic can't flow. And if there is no continuity, power can't flow. Now I know I'm trying to make this simple so that we can understand it, but let me leave you with this one image. If there is no road, traffic can't move. And if there is no continuity, power can't move. Don't forget about continuity. And don't catch yourself saying, I wish I would have tested that a lot sooner.